button.
Everyone loves the button, and there we go. Hey, folks, thanks for tuning into the BAMP podcast. I'm your host, Mike Lafferty, and this is my unfortunate beard experiment here in quarantine. Going to clean it up later tonight. And over here is Walt Rebelliard. How you doing, Walt?
I respond to any pronunciation of my last name.
I got it wrong, didn't I? I'm sorry.
Everybody gets it wrong. I've only had one person pronounce it correctly. And a quick story about one of my Army experiences. I was standing in line, as you do when you're a young recruit, and I was going to a highly specialized school and I thought I was going to be, able to have a sense of humor. And the guy kept shouting my name wrong. Finally, he ran over, pointed to my name tape, almost took my chest off my chest, and said, "How do you pronounce your last name?" I said it, and he said, "No, your mother taught you wrong."
The accent on the last syllable, right?
I respond to it all.
All right, that's cool. So it's me and Walt, and we're talking about pop culture and what we're reading right now. And I'll let Walt go first because his stuff's probably more interesting. So what you
I don't know about that.
Hey, Smith.
Hey.
How you doing, sir?
Hello, not too bad, thank you very much. Apart from heat, starvation, it's very, very hot today. Very, very warm, muggy, hotness, thunderstorms, not great.
What's hot, like 22, 23?
Yes. That's not the point. It's still hot.
You guys with your crazy centigrade.
Oh no, I speak centigrade. Yeah, I
don't, but I understand.
It's technically 17 at the moment, but that's
not too bad. What's that, like 65 Fahrenheit?
We're on the verge of thunderstorms apparently and rain, so it's getting to that kind of thing where it's like you just want the rain to come down.
Yeah, right on. Cool everything off. Do you guys have pollen out there? Like, do you guys have allergies?
Pollen. Oh, I suffer from hay fever massively. Pollen apparently is the big thing. Apparently, the pollen bomb is the thing going on at the moment. Where apparently the pollen bomb. Apparently, thunderstorms bring on a pollen bomb because it breaks the pollen down into even small compact parts, which can actually get into people's lungs more than normal pollen. So yeah, people suffer much worse over thunderstorm season as well. So
craziness.
Not good.
So hey, today we are doing a pop culture chat review show, etc. And Walt was going to tell us about what he's been checking out recently. So
I got two today. So the first one, if you could put up that lovely cover, Mike, is by author Scott Moon. It's called Invasion Day. They were out, or they came for blood. Very fun novel. Not your usual protagonist. It follows two brothers and a sister spread out among the country. One brother is a truck driver, another one is a police officer in Chicago, and then the last member of the family is a video game developer. And their worlds start to close back in on each other when they have I'm going to go off camera for a second because my animals are being weird. So their worlds start to come together a little bit when the Earth is invaded by a hostile alien force. The force quickly takes over, and then people start to adjust to the new normal. But the downside to this is that they've you always have the did they come for resources? Did they come for this? Did they come for that? Apparently, human blood is a delicacy for them. So we become like cattle, and it's about the struggle of this family to kind of get back together and see what they can do against the aliens. Great banter, interesting characters. The girl you see in the cover is one of the characters that comes in early, and she's very, very interesting. A lot of fun. So if you love stuff like Independence Day and things like Big Trouble in Little China. What was that, Mike?
Is it wrong to say V?
Yeah, V. Yep, there's that too. If you love all of that stuff, definitely Invasion Day by Scott Moon. Check it out. You can get it right now on the Amazons. But yeah, seriously, check it out. It's a fun read. Not your typical, not your typical square jaw, chest out, I must fight the aliens kind of thing. There's a lot of interesting stuff, especially with the main character in that big truck of his.
So a more relatable character and some humor.
Yeah, absolutely. Lots of humor. Lots of interactions between characters that normally wouldn't interact with each other because of the situation, and you don't get a sense of like this was written for Hollywood and these amazing lines that inspired a generation. None of that. It's like real people talking. In a kind of a difficult event. So it's fun. Definitely fun. I would highly recommend that people check it out.
Cool. Oh, hey, let's give a quick shout out to the one member of our audience who I know for sure is watching, Antonio Marchina rolled in. Hey, Antonio, how you doing?
Hey.
And Ade, what have you been into these days?
Well,
or I can talk about something if you need a minute to think it over.
Yeah, no, obviously my other podcast for the in my weekend slot is obviously the Star Trek stuff. So I've been revisiting the Star Trek movies, but that sort of thing. I've actually managed to get my first bundle of comics through in the last couple of weeks in like 3 months now. Has it got to be? And yeah, okay. There's not a lot in it. There's a few things in it, but the best thing is got to be the newest Hellblazer book. It's fantastic. It's back up to the old standards of the Vertigo books that used to be Hellblazer.
Really?
Yeah, I think it's very, very good. Yeah.
What's the new story about?
It's had, this is the single issue one that just came out this time. The previous issues was about a guy. Effectively, what they've done with Constantine is they've taken him from the Vertigo continuity, put him to this new Sandman universe one. Kind of acknowledge the fact that it was all an alternate universe kind of stuff with parallel dimension, all that kind of stuff. So they've kind of effectively reset the character. In modern days, exactly the same character. It looks like it's outside of the core DC universe continuity as well. There doesn't seem to be anyone showing up at the moment anyway. There's a side plot where it seems to be that the aging John from the end of the Vertigo series may be trying to come over to here and influence stuff as well, so that's going on as well. But they just kind of had this neo-pagan guy that took John's place while he was away, and he's quite a character. So he's been shown the last 2 or 3 issues, and that's been quite good. Artwork's been different, but looks pretty cool. But yeah, just the writing is right up there with the old stuff from the Hellblazer stuff. The Constantine books never replaced it fully, in my opinion. They always seem to be not quite as good. This is kind of you back to your kind of smoking 7 packs of cigarettes a day and spitting on the corner of the streets of London kind of thing. So yeah, this is really, really cool stuff. And it looks like maybe the only Sandman universe book that's going to survive as well, because everything else looks like it's been cancelled or put into miniseries status. So,
all right, is this the new one by Simon Spurrier?
That's the one. Yes.
All right, I have art I can show off. Here we go. That one right there.
Yes, that would be the first issue. Yes, a couple months ago. Yeah.
That's I just caught the tombstone there. Can you guys see that on your side?
Yes.
But yes, it's the Sandman, the core Sandman book lasted 20 issues, and that story was over and done with, and they've got another series coming out, I believe, pretty soon. That I don't know exactly how long that's going to last for. So that seems to actually be progressing. Books of Magic apparently is ending in September on issue 23. Lucifer and House of Whispers are both ending as well. This is only 6 issues in, so I'm hoping this is going to actually last. Obviously, whether or not we get to the heady heights of the olden days where it had like 240 issues back in the old days, but it's really good. It's an excellent book. I love my Hellblazer, so yeah, it's really good to have it back again.
Was Gaiman back writing Sandman, or was it someone else?
No, Gaiman was effectively consultant to the project as a whole, and they effectively removed Dream and a lot of the Endless from the book itself. They were always there, kind of in the background as such, but it was more about Merv Pumpkinhead and Cain and Abel, that kind of stuff as well. But there were some really deep dives into Sandman continuity going back to the really early issues of the original series. So, you need to, if you've got good knowledge of the original series, you will pick up those threads that have been tied through. So, that's a good book as well. Really good. But at the moment, it's on hiatus because they're bringing up another mini-series of some sort. So.
Okay, cool. I'll have to check this out. I've been so out of the loop on everything that DC's doing for a while. I should probably check back into it.
It's pretty worth picking up as a trade or something. I know they're supposed to be doing because again, that's Black Label now. The new name for Vertigo effectively is Black Label. I think they're bringing a large oversized one similar to the Batman book and the Question book that came out of Hellblazer. And I think that's going to be pretty soon, and that looks absolutely brilliant as well. So I'm hoping that's up to the same standards.
Oh, I should probably mention, since you mentioned the Question, Denny O'Neil just passed away.
Yes. Sad indeed, because that Question stuff, love it.
Yeah, it was good stuff. And his Green Lantern and Green Arrow stuff was, of course, legendary from back in the day.
Exactly, yeah.
So, all right. Well, let me chime in with something. Since we're talking comics, I'll go with this. So Ant-Man, for me, is one of those characters kind of like Hawkman, where they try to start a new book every few years, and it really seems like it should be good, and it's usually kind of terrible. And I will say right now, the current run of Hawkman has been really good. And this 5-issue Ant-Man miniseries where he teams up with his daughter, and it's been funny. It's been, very much the Scott Lang kind of Ant-Man, but it's a funny book that's actually, funny. And I can't say enough good things about it because it's, it's actually entertaining 22 pages, and there's a lot fewer size, and what the fuck are they doing? So that's my threshold for entertaining comic book read these days. So I would say check it out, and just finish so you don't have to worry about waiting forever for the last issue to come out because it's out.
That's fantastic. It's fun when you get characters that like you see and that they bring back and actually have a fun run on, rather than either soapboxing or just Cap Wolf or something. Yeah.
We brought back Static Shock and he lost his arm because it's extreme.
Isn't the Ant-Man book though also one of those books that suffered from the digital problems where they brought out so many issues and then popped the last 2 or 3 in digital only, therefore pissing off a lot of people that were collecting their book actually as physical copies?
Ooh. I didn't hear about that.
I think it might be. I think that at least the 5th or 6th issue might be one of those. I know some of them that's happened with. Yeah.
And what's ForceWorks?
I actually checked this out because you mentioned it. It's another miniseries. This might be the last one. Basically, you've got U.S. Agent and Maria Hill.
Is that Spider-Woman or is that Mockingbird?
Mockingbird.
Okay, that's a shame.
And they're on an island full of Deathloks.
I do love a Deathlock.
Yeah.
I do love Deathlock so much. Much.
Not just Deathlock, but also MODOK.
MODOK as well.
MODOK as well.
This might have to be something that you either pick up or check out on.
Iron Man 2020. The appearance in Machine Man miniseries, I loved the Iron Man of 2020. And when they said this was going to be like an event, it's like, do I pick these up or do I not? It's like, well, yeah, it's going to be. And now you've put Deathlocks and MODOKs in there as well. That's too much to go.
Tim MODOK. Oh my God.
He blows the head off this giant robot and inserts himself into, and it's yeah.
Okay, that's got to be looked at.
I know there was a time in the 60s when MODOK would show up and he wasn't a punchline. And yes. But I'm okay with him being funny whenever he comes up. That's okay.
I like MODOK. I think he's a cool character. I would utilize him as much as possible.
I like him better in this form. I think he's used well in here. West Coast Avengers is where I saw him last, and they had him show up as a slightly bigger sized head, like kind of bro guy, calling himself Brodoc.
Right.
And I'm all for going for the cheesy laugh, but that might have been a bit much for me. But it's a fun book. John Walker, U.S. Agent, is not a character people always write in character, I guess. Usually they just say, oh, he's an asshole. They write him like that. But this one Because he is an asshole, but he tries to do the right thing at the end of the day.
I guess there was a ForceWorks title with Marvel back in 1994.
Oh yeah, it's from back in the day. Yeah.
Yeah, this is another one of these rebranded titles they're using for other purposes. Yeah.
I guess it hasn't hit unlimited. How new is it?
This issue I just paged through here just came out in the last month.
Yeah, I'll have to wait.
So
it's pretty nice as well.
Come eventually. Yeah.
So
that's as far as comic books. Now you had an actual graphic novel you want to talk about, Walt?
Oh yeah, Exilum. So very interesting idea. It's I guess the things that are really drawing my attention right now are things that are kind of like a mashup of different things I loved during the 80s. I just shared my screen too, Mike, if you want to put that up. So this was a Kickstarter for the complete graphic novel from Alterna Comics. And the idea is kind of like District 9 meets kind of like the old Buck Rogers. So you have this race of aliens that ran to Earth, escaping an enemy that was wiping them out. They basically landed on Earth and asked for refuge. So this fight has been going on for years and years, generations. And when you finally catch up with these characters, they're humans and aliens have been living together for decades now, and it just still, there's, even after several years, they're still trying to figure everything out. But the threat that had started with the aliens has now followed them to Earth, and they get their only hope left is in finding this group that has opposed the aliens in the past and won, called the Exilum. So they set out into space together, humans and aliens, to try and find the only thing that can keep either race from being exterminated. So very quippy. Like the aliens have fully assimilated into Earth culture so much that one of the in the beginning panels, one of the characters you meet is using full Australian slang. The humans are believable and in some cases relatable. One of them is kind of a dick, but it's a fun book, but like a lot of thinking in it as well, especially applicable to today's events and things that are going on in and around our world. Just because you have these two people who are very, very different, who have been kind of smashed together and, forced to live beside each other. And for most part, they make it work. Sometimes it does, sometimes it doesn't. But at the end of the day, they both have to see that they have value to each other, and that there's more than just you look different than I do. There's entire cultures that they can learn from each other, and they take that into space as a kind of bridge to, along with bad Australian slang, to to try and find this last hope for the people living on Earth. The art was fantastic. Lots of cool special effects in the art. There's cool space battles. There's lots of like fun, tense moments. Like I said, the artwork is just spectacular. So you can get, I think, the first 5 issues on Comixology. This was the full graphic novel as far as was presented on Kickstarter, and I really enjoyed it. So I hope they do more of this kind of stuff, because as far as like a superhero fix goes, I can be kind of hit or miss. These days, I look for more out of the mask fun in my comics panels. So oh god, that's a great shot. So having these kind of things like hit on Kickstarter and stuff like that is just amazing, because it allows a great opportunity to check out a story you might not have otherwise seen. Yeah,
what they say the other day, Kickstarter, if you were to count them as a publisher. Is like the third largest one in the industry now.
Yeah, because I mean, there's no barrier to entry. There's nobody to tell you no. The only people who can tell you no are your supporters. I mean, if your book is interesting enough and has enough pop behind it to get people to clear the moths out of their wallet and throw some money at you, I mean, your book will get made. Otherwise it's going to sit on a shelf until you either revamp and relaunch, or something better comes along. So to have as many comics. I've bought more comics from Kickstarter in the last 3 years than I have bought from comic shops and e-tailers. So that should tell you something. And I used to buy tons of comics. So from all the traditional routes, but yeah, Kickstarter lately. I mean, usually when I kick up Kickstarter and I have comics set as my kind of like my prime go-to. It pops right up and shows me all the latest and greatest. And some guys like our friend Marvin Wynn, who does the Edge comic, he funds and likes to follow a lot of cool Kickstarters, and we've I've opened my wallet to a bunch of stuff like that through his feed. So yeah, definitely Kickstarter is where it's at right now. That and Indiegogo.
I keep forgetting about that. I know it's out there. Oh, that reminds me. I was looking at Vito Del Santi's Twitter the other day. He says he's working on more Stray.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Good stuff.
Weren't you doing the RPG for that, Walt?
There was some discussion, but it got a little weird.
All right, fair enough.
Licensing stuff, how to work around licensing stuff, because it wasn't a single creator-owned book. You had multiple creators, and you had to get multiple lines of permission and stuff like that. It would have been very difficult. I would have loved to have done it. But because it merges into, it's a book not enclosed in its own universe, kind of like, oh God, what was the one from Image Comics back in the day that ended Invincible?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Right, you had a single creator with a single universe. Somebody approaching him to do an RPG like that would have been as simple as sitting down with the lawyers and kind of hammering things out. But to have multiple creative lines and universes that are from multiple creators, you would have had to chase like all these different people for their signatures, and if something didn't work with one, it had to be discussed with all the others. It would have been very problematic. But that's a lot of behind the curtain baseball.
Fair enough. Oh, hey, I made a mistake on Fort's Work 2020. I need to ask for your guys' permission. That was not Maria Hill. It was a Shield Agent Quake. Exactly. Yeah.
Shocker.
Sorry about that. I got something wrong. Take my geek card. Tore it up. I'm sorry.
We don't judge.
Big up two more other books that got announced yesterday, which I'm really looking forward to.
What do you got?
What's that?
Immortal She-Hulk special one-off, which
really?
should be really good. Written by the same guy who's currently writing the Immortal Hulk, which I absolutely love. So that will be fantastic. Hopefully, fingers crossed. And then I've only seen the cover, but I am super excited. Even if it's just a one shot, even if it's whatever, a Captain Britain book.
Really?
A little dance around the room. Yeah, so a brand new Captain Britain book with the Captain Britain logo on it. That's actually Captain Britain with the Captain Britain uniform. That actually looks like the Captain Britain uniform, not some knockoff. So I'm super excited. If it goes into a series, brilliant. If it's a one shot, I don't give a crap. I'm really looking forward to it.
That's awesome. When's it going to hit? Do you know?
I believe it's part of the Exilum Sword stuff that's coming up, which I think is September, October time. Because obviously that all got pushed back for that. So, but yeah, so that should be pretty cool.
Okay, cool. I didn't. X of Swords. Oh yeah, here's a story on Bleeding Cool all about that. Oh, I think I have the cover. Let me share that because it's a visual medium. One sec. It's Bleeding Cool.
X of Swords is their next mini series that's part of the whole House of X stuff. Yeah, there it is. Hello, Captain Britain. Yes, so. Looking forward to that. I'm really hoping it lives up.
Cool. That is good news. I wasn't even aware that was coming out, so that's pretty cool.
That cover is spectacular.
It's pretty cool, isn't it? Yeah.
Wish I had a
fun.
higher res version of that.
Yeah.
What if I click on that?
Hey.
Oh God, that's. Can you guys? Is that incredibly
it's
blurry?
fuzzy, trust me, I've done the same already, so I know it's pretty fuzzy. Yeah.
All right. Yeah, that's I still miss MI13 from back in the day. I really enjoyed that book. Yeah. So, all right, last thing I'm going to talk about. I've been meaning to talk about this particular book for months, but been reading this series by Christopher Moore. Sometimes I read books that don't have pictures in them. I know it's hard to believe, but Christopher Moore, he's an American comedic writer, probably best known for Biff, a book about Jesus Christ's best friend. If I was dating a pagan girlfriend about 20 years ago, and she had this big problem with Christianity, but she never actually read the Bible or talked to a Christian outside telling them they were wrong. I was like, you really should read Biff. And the whole premise of Biff is that Jesus Christ has to grow up as a young boy and not sin, so he can be pure and fulfill his destiny. So Biff is his friend from the wrong side of the tracks who takes all the sins so that Jesus doesn't have to do them. And they get into youthful shenanigans. But all right, so there's this trend in literature for like 20 years now where you write a famous story from the point of view of a minor character, or at least not a villain, like Wicked, for one example. Fool is a book by Christopher Moore where he rewrites King Lear from the point of view of the King's Fool. And it sounds pretentious as hell, and it involves Shakespeare, so yeah, a little bit. But mainly it's lots and lots of dirty jokes, and most of them land. So it's on Audible, it's on Amazon, it's worth checking out. The latest one is Shakespeare for Squirrels, which is the same premise applied to Midsummer's Night's Dream, which is already a pretty funny play. And as I was telling Walt before the show, the main character Pocket, who's the fool, has a monkey sidekick who was attracted to hats. So,
Yeah, but he was sexually attracted to hats.
Sexually, it's not magnetism. Just he's finds haberdashery irresistible. So anyway, it's a fun book, and that's another way I've been whiling away the hours here in quarantine. So, and I was hesitant to mention it because he's an American who's trying to write British style humor, and although most of his jokes are funny, I'm not sure if it's really, I don't know. I'd have to be an Englishman, I guess, to read it and say if it, really scratches that itch exactly right. So if you ever get around to it, just let us know, I guess.
Yeah, see how it goes. Yeah.
If you like the monkeys and the hats, this is...
You can't go wrong with monkeys.
That's just did the job.
Yeah. So that's, you guys check anything out? Anything else out these days? Any new games we've been playing besides Valor Knights? Have you guys heard of Valor Knights? It's a new game.
Yeah, we've heard of it.
I'm aware of it.
I hear there's also an upcoming game, Redneck Ninja.
Redneck Ninja is already out, but I can pull that page up too. Hang on. Where is it? Redneck Ninja. Oh yeah, if I guess we should. There's this bundle on itch.io which has raised like $5 million.
Holy crap!
It's astounding the amount of stuff's in it as well. It's like I think it was 7,000 items I saw last. I think it's more than that now.
Once you buy the bundle, you have to go to hunt down a spreadsheet to show you everything that's in the bundle. It's a combination of video games, and unfortunately, I'm not in the bundle. I wish I'd known about it. I would have kicked in, but this is a hack of Honey Heist that's making fun of Gambit from the X-Men. Art and the introduction is by Jacob Blackman, friend of the podcast, and it's available for free on itch.io. So check it out if you have a chance. But I picked up that bundle. I downloaded like 10 things, and I was still like, there's literally thousands more. I don't see it. Here it is. The Black Lives Matter support bundle. Bundle ends in 8 hours. Holy shit! If you want it, you should get it now. It's raised
109 million.
I guess it's the difference of the bundle I was thinking of, because the one I was thinking of, it raised a lot more. But it's still, that's a healthy chunk. So definitely check it out if you get a chance. It's itch, so there's a combination of video games, which is what they mainly sell there, and also physical games, i.e. RPGs. So
RPGs.
I stumbled over that word. I'm sorry.
No, pirates. It's all about pirates.
Indeed.
Chambara. I love Chambara.
What is Chambara?
Chambara is a genre of Japanese cinema focusing on epic samurai revenge stories.
I didn't know this was a thing. Why haven't you told me about this? Why are you
Lone
keeping
Wolf
me
and
from
Cub.
this
Have you ever heard of that?
Lone Wolf and Cub. I have
I've heard of
every
it.
issue. I have every small little graphic novel of Lone Wolf
Yeah,
and Cub.
I got them sitting. I got them sitting right here, and they're gorgeous. Did you see Lone Wolf 2100?
I did see 2100. That was good as well. Yeah,
So good. So Lone Wolf and Cub is the story of the Shogun's executioner, and he was framed for a crime of insolence that he did not commit. So basically, somebody accused him of having a death idol of the emperor in his like little idol shrine. So he was required to keep from his job. So he says to his young son, after his wife is murdered, I'm giving you a choice. If you choose the sword, you walk with me on my road to hell, and I will eventually kill all the people who did this to us. If you choose the ball and choose to remain a child, I will kill you and send you to your mother. And the kid crawls toward the sword, and he spends years growing up while his father is assassinating his way through Japan. And the stories are amazing. Oh yeah, the baby cart killer, just amazing.
Frank Miller covers on those as well.
Yes,
yeah.
So
also movies as well. Just bring it up. 1970s samurai movies with lots of squirting blood when people's heads get cut off.
Yep. Yeah, the Shogun Assassin ones that came as a directly spin-off from those comics.
You guys don't watch Rick and Morty, right?
Sometimes.
Oh, yeah.
All right. Give me a second. This kind of ties into that. One sec.
Yep. Which is exactly what Chambara is.
Yeah.
You know, but yeah, it was. I got made fun of when I went to. I had studied classical jujitsu when I was younger, and I went up to my instructor, who was a very angry Japanese lady. I said, "Oh, have you seen these movies from back in the 70s, Shogun Assassin?" And she's like, "Garbage. She's like, just pour bleach into your ear and hope it erases all of that." Oh my God, but I couldn't help it. I loved it so much.
Nice. Hey, I found why we were confused about bundles on Itch, because the one we were talking about actually just stopped yesterday.
Wow.
This one here.
$8 million.
$8 million.
Wow.
Yeah. And it's 1,741 items would have cost $9,000 to buy it all. Good
Holy
Lord.
crap.
We've done some pretty big bundles on Drive-Thru RPG, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Not like that, though.
Yeah, I mean, for Hurricane Relief, yeah.
This is saying that there are actually, I believe there's still 3 up on Drive-Thru at the moment that are actually running as well. So
we should probably talk about that too, shouldn't we? If we're going to talk about bundles.
Honestly, I know they're obviously smaller in size. They're not 7,000 items, but they're still good. Yeah, there's still stuff in them. So,
well, I mean, you got itch.io is primarily a video game marketplace, so they've got a lot more vendors because people actually make money selling video games. So that's the primary difference between the two marketplaces. Lots of people make money selling video games. A few people make money selling tabletop RPGs.
One of my guys that was doing stuff for Supers, he created Supers Search and Destroy, which is kind of like Bond, Bauer, and Born for the Supers rule set. He made so much money it drove him right into creating video games.
Well, he's probably making more money in video games. Am I right?
Yes, he is.
Yeah, it's It's kind of like RPGs and comics are sort of those. What did Billy Bob Thornton say in Bad News Bears? Like loving a German girl. Just because you love her doesn't mean she loves you back.
It's true.
So, yeah. Now I don't want to say bad things about DTRPG. They do great stuff, but it's hard to find these bundles because here is they have a page highlighting works from African American creators, which is good, and they definitely should. But I know somewhere on this page are the links to the bundles, but they aren't.
I think they do show up later on down the list from what I remember. Yeah, I think you've gone past.
Okay.
Yeah, there you are.
Yeah, police accountability, legal defense fund. And I've actually got Against the Axis, which is our World War II Nazi punching book for Stark City by RPG legend Steve Perrin, is right here in this bundle. So, and look at that beautiful Joe Singleton art.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Pour one out. Mad love for Joe.
I always love that cover. It's great.
Yeah, Joe did good work. It's a shame he's gone. But yeah, this bundle is going on for, I want to say, I don't think they haven't really said when it's going to stop. So, but yeah, still running a bunch of bundles on there. Just click the banner on the main page, and as we see, you can scroll down and check everything out. So definitely a worthy cause. Please give it a look. And anything else we want to talk about before we wrap things up, guys?
I think I'm good.
Yeah, that was fun. I especially have to go check out The Fool now.
It's I've been listening to the latest book in the series on Audible, and it goes pretty fast, and the narrator's pretty fun. So, all right, well, hey, Walt, Ade, thanks for coming out. Always good talking to you guys.
Cheers.
And to all our listeners and viewers out there, we'll catch you next time on the Banff Podcast.
We should have like a Banff